Hey, what's up everyone? It's Rich. Alright, welcome to the introduction into drawing superheroes. What I do in this first video is I break down really simple primitive shapes, but they're incredibly important to drawing and opening up the possibilities to do a lot of different comic book characters. As I started thinking about, like, how would I teach someone to draw Venom? How would I teach someone to draw Batman? How would I teach someone to draw Hellboy? It's all shape-based, or a lot of it's shape-based. And the thing is a lot of times, because we look at so much great comic book art, we really focus on the surface of what we see, you know. And a good example is yesterday I saw a video of a pretty famous and successful comic book artist, but he's known for using a lot of photo reference. It's not Alex Ross, just to be clear, it's someone else. But he did a few sketches for some show thing, and you could tell that he had no structure. Because he works from photo reference, he's working on surface things, and when left to his own devices, he's never learned the fundamentals of how form works, honestly. And so his drawings were very flat. He could only draw front views, and the guy's really limited, you know. But you give him photo reference, he can do some real nice pieces, and he puts a bunch of sort of splashy, you know, effects on top of it, and it works out for him. And he's, you know, been working professionally for at least 20 years. But anyway, you don't want to be limited like that, okay? You want to be able to sit down and not only cartoon, but just to be able to draw well, like illustrate whatever it is. And let me shut this, like a helicopter going by. But anyway, you know, in the video, there's one mistake that I make over and over again. Is I kind of had just woke up, and when I shot the video, it's one pass. I keep referring to cylinders as spheres. It was just like a brain fart on my part, but you'll see me kind of bounce back and forth between calling the cylinder a sphere, and I tend to call the sphere a circle, but it's a little loosey-goosey. It's disappointing, but I really don't have 30 minutes to reshoot the video. But anyway, me telling you up front to just be aware that the thing that looks like a Coke can or looks like, you know, a paper towel tube, that's a cylinder, okay? And a sphere is a ball, all right? And other than that, the video is okay. The drawings are a little sloppy, you know, and I didn't want to draw anything ahead of time. I was tempted to start the video last night only because I thought it would more efficiently give examples. But I know the example that you want to see is someone drawing it. You don't want to see a sheet of pre-done drawings and me explaining it. So I thought this is a better way to do it. But I think you'll really see really closely, even though the drawings are a bit crude, how much opportunity, what I understand right now, and again, I consider myself average at best, how much freedom it gives me based on what I can do. And I can tighten stuff up very much. I mean, you figure I did, I don't know, 20 or 30 drawings in like a half hour, probably less than a minute a piece. And, you know, you figure a normal drawing might take 6 to 8 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is. So, you know, you put a little time into this stuff, you can refine it, and any sort of things that you couldn't just blow through that are more complicated, quote-unquote, shape and perspective problems, you'll be able to work out and problem solve on them. You'll see, like I did at the end, kind of a jaw with teeth, and the back row of teeth, because I was using a brush pen, they kind of floated, and they're sort of off the thing. But just know that, I mean, the more primitive examples I gave on the side is you're going to see the top plane of the teeth, and it drifted a little bit, but again, it was more the tool and me trying to duck. I have to basically, like, the camera sits like right here, so I can either look under it and kind of try to draw like this, or I look through the camera and it gives it a bit of distortion. So there's a learning curve with that. But anyway, enjoy the video, and I really think that you're going to get a lot out of it, and just be patient if you think that this is beneath you or that you already have this, because I'm telling you, when it starts to pick up steam and we get into 2 and 3 point perspective, and all of a sudden you're not only drawing just simple shapes, you're drawing hundreds of shapes on a character that all are going to be kind of in perspective. It can sound overwhelming, but you're going to have the tools to blow through it and solve it, and you'll be able to draw some character in some dynamic pose with a mace with all these crazy shapes on it, and you're going to know how to problem solve it and place all those geometric shapes in space and not be stuck doing this and this all the time. You know, I said in a video a while back that one of the worst ways I feel to learn anatomy is to learn that front view and side view and back view. The reason is every figure that you draw from that point on, in your mind, you're trying to create something that has life from something that's about as static as it can possibly get. I understand that it's the clearest way to see those landmarks, but it's a problematic riff to get in your head. You want to be able to turn a figure, not just draw a stiff figure that is looking right at you, which in life doesn't happen. Even right now, you are seeing the top of my nose. You are seeing above my eyes. You're seeing more of my bottom lip than my top lip because my head is turning. If I go like this, all of a sudden you have a side view. My one eye is larger than the other. I mean, it's everywhere. And if you want dynamic art, you're going to need to understand that. And then ultimately what we'll do is we'll get into lighting these things, drawing specific characters, and putting them into scenes. And then really ultimately, hopefully being able to get like remove stiffness from drawings and have a lot of life and character. What makes one person that draws a face really connect with you, and you know, another one looks well drawn but maybe doesn't have that little spark. All right, bye. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's up everyone? All right, this is very, very exciting. I'm telling you, I'm pumped for everyone. So this is going to be the introduction into drawing superheroes, and I've thought about this a lot over the last like day and a half, and you know, here's my sales pitch on what we're going to do. The first 6 videos are going to be about understanding structure, and I'm going to teach you how to see form in space, which basically means you're going to learn form and you're going to learn perspective, but don't let that scare you or brush you off from these videos. I'm telling you, this is the key to everything. And ultimately, this first kind of 1, 2, and 3 steps that I'm going to show you will blend into one step, and you'll be able to sort of like merge all these ideas. But anyway, yeah, this is so important, and I'm going to teach you how to see and actually understand form. And I'm telling you, this will liberate you. It will free you. I've spent thousands of hours, okay, learning this stuff, and I'm going to pin it all down for you in like 6 videos, all right? So if you want to save time and really get drawing well, you're going to need to know this stuff, and you're going to really need to know it intimately, and then you can decide how you're going to actually assimilate it in your work. But anyway, so I'm just using, this is Bristol paper, essentially from a pad like this. I just took it out. I like untook the spirals and pulled out a chunk of it. And then for the sake of the video, I'm actually using a 3B barrel pencil, turquoise. I would never really draw with a 3B. It's way too soft of a lead, but it'll be darker for the video. Normally I like 2H or HB. H is good too. But all right, so first things first, I need to teach you how to see. I need to teach you that there's illusions in art and things that people do that you've seen them do a million times that ultimately aren't going to get you to the point that you want to be with your art. Okay, the way that I could explain it to you is a lot of people try to learn from the top down, meaning that they see the result of someone and they kind of try to take that as a jumping in point. It's a really, like, it can be a very limiting idea, and you don't want to be limited with drawing. You don't want to be stuck drawing like front views and side views of stuff. It's a limited game. Okay, I have to get used to drawing with the camera right in front of my face. It's a little different than YouTube videos. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to draw a shape for you now, and I want you to look at it and then tell me what you're looking at. Okay, so what is that? Is it a rectangle? Okay, we're looking at it straight on right now, which really in real life, you don't look at anything straight on. The only time that you could potentially look someone dead in the eye would be if you're 6 feet tall and someone walks up to you that's 6 feet tall. And even then, you could be slightly above them or below them. But anyway, so when you look at this shape, what is this? Okay, it's actually a cylinder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to turn it in space. So I'm moving the camera above it a little bit. I'm going to take that same shape, and I'm telling you, this is going to open up the door for you to draw everything, but you have to really, really be able, and I'm telling you, this is deceivingly simple, but it gets complicated really fast, all right? I can't stress this enough. Even people that know how to draw, I'm telling you, there's more. Anyway, okay, so, yeah, you got your rectangle, but it really was a sphere, okay? And then the more that you move it, it starts to not only reduce in size, but it's a little off, but I could kind of sort of the ellipse is slightly. It's funny because I haven't drawn in like 3 weeks, and it definitely affected my control for penciling. But anyway, so that rectangle just turned the littlest bit. All of a sudden becomes, you know, a bullet shell. It could be, you know, the barrel of a gun. If you, you know, we're gonna. So my phone's trying to autofocus. Now I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. I'm just trying to give you some examples of what we're kind of up against here. It's a little off. Like I said, the camera is right in front of my face, so it makes it a little. I have to either squat and sort of look underneath it, or look in the viewfinder and draw, which is not very appealing to me. So okay, so shapes that you want to be familiar with. Just, I mean, the fundamental 3 shapes that most drawing books will start with would be a cube. And if you don't know how to draw a cube, I actually did a video a while ago on sort of the concepts behind this. And again, this is going to seem really, really simple, but it's not in a few minutes. So just stay with me. All right, you got your sphere. And then, what is the other shape? Cube, sphere. I can't even think of what it is. Hold on, let me pause this for a second. Oh, it's circle. Because I was getting caught up in that these were ellipses, but anyway. So then you've got circle. Circle actually is fairly forgiving. We could be looking at it from any angle right now, as long as it's not lit. You know, the sphere kind of holds its own. Okay, so anyway, okay, so here's the basic deal. Why this stuff is so important is the first thing that I realized as I started to really get serious about drawing comic books is comic book characters have a ton of angles and shapes on them. They all wear costumes. They all have belts. They all have weapons. They all wear helmets. No, I'm generalizing. I'm saying like they wear helmets. They have wings on the helmets. They have, you know, things on their arms. They have wraps and belts and buckles and all this stuff. And if you can't draw these shapes in perspective, you are done. And the thing is the body itself isn't this flat object. You can think of it in basic terms like this, but the torso of a body is you know, more rounded, for lack of a better term. And what happens is, like, say someone, like, if you watch Jim Lee draw on Twitch or whatever, he's got this down. So like he can go in and kind of like do the big shapes and skip a lot of this. But anyway, but what becomes challenging when all of a sudden you have this. Okay, I'm gonna have to kick my cats out of here. Give me one sec. Okay, so but the reason that it's so important is, okay, like say you want to draw a belt on someone, okay? So we'll have the All right, so this is the body. So you've got a belt. So you're immediately dealing with a shape like this. Okay? It's essentially an ellipse. And this belt wraps around the body. Okay, and then this is the front buckle, we'll say. Okay, so if I pull that shape out, what you've got is, and since we're above it a little bit, you're even seeing a bit of the top rim. So the first more complex shape that you need to be able to see and feel is something along the lines of that. It's essentially a rectangle, but because it's on the body and it's on a belt that wraps around the waist, it bends a little bit. Okay, the center line would be right here, and this, the same thing, this could be a mouth and you're drawing lips. You're gonna see how this all ties in together. But do you see, this is slightly shorter than that. That's longer because it's going back into the distance than this. Okay, now the lips, I actually posted something really, really similar to this on my Instagram. So you don't follow me on Instagram, check it out. The bottom lip really has a shape like this. It obviously bows, but you have a side plane here with the lip. You have the bottom lip that has the underneath, curves out, and then it goes into the mouth cavity, and then this edge. But if you're lighting something from here, this is going to be the darkest area. You'll have shadow here. Really check that out, what I posted on my Instagram. It's important. But anyway, so we'll put that shape here. And again, because it's on a curved thing, it curves. Okay? Do you see I placed that mouth right on that shape? Okay, now, like, another really, really important shape in comic books is this, or something along the lines of this. Okay, and this is a pure side view of this. I mean, Batman's ear, Robin's I think gauntlets, the, like, whatever his like wrist bracer things are, has like fins on it. Okay, the top of Batman's head. Okay, but then if you start to turn them in space, now all of a sudden you're dealing with this shape. Okay, or if I'm looking at the top of Robin's fin things. Okay, now what when you draw heads, okay, like I don't, the circle doesn't really work for me that well. I tend to I kind of do that more if I'm going to draw a head. And I'll show you how to do them from different angles, either in this video or later, but anyway, we'll just, but that locks it in faster for me than trying to drop like a jaw onto a head. You can really like play with these shapes and do lots of really, really fun things. So, you know, if you were to draw, here I'm going to do like a Batman example, but I'm going to do his head as like this. And the reason is just to show you the simplicity of the shapes, but how complicated it can get real fast. So if his ears, we're saying here, hopefully this works. Okay, then. But this stuff gets tough when you have to start moving Batman around. And all of a sudden, you're trying to figure out where the hell the ears sit. I'm telling you, like it can be it can be kind of challenging. So another thing that you want to sort of get used to, and it's worth playing with, is placing objects on a sphere. I'll explain why in a second, but yeah, if you can get kind of comfortable with this, because it not only prepares you for drawing like a head, but you know, again, I mean, it's like and then, you know, if using this triangle shape, creates the nose. Okay, but see, that's sitting flat. It's not on the sphere. It's very easy to lose track of the space. So when you are thinking of the sphere as a form, you want to make sure that you're feeling the roundness of it. Remember, it's curves onto the shape. So there's a bit of a learning curve for me drawing with the camera in front of my face the way that it is. So just be patient, and then you place the, well, so the eyes. This was a real cool thing. I'm gonna start another piece of paper, and then I'll pull that one back out. But okay, so your eyes sit in a socket. I'm just gonna we'll do one eye. Okay, so if you draw the eyeball, and imagine that this is a pocket that it sits in. Okay, the eyeball, again, it protrudes. It's not flat, and we're underneath it a little bit, so it's going to go like this. Okay, eye socket, and here, there's that shape again that we were just talking about, yo. So, eyelid goes over the eye. Do you see that? Over the eye, and then tucks down like this. But then this, because we're underneath it, this lid goes like that. Right? Alright, and your eyebrow is going to sit up here, and depending on the kind of shaped eyebrow you have. And then the pupil. And again, I'll get into this more intimately later. I'm just kind of trying to show you how important these shapes ultimately are for your success at being able to wing stuff from any angle, any perspective, you name it. I want to liberate you. I want to give you freedom to draw whatever you want. And I apologize. I think the video started off a little convoluted. So hopefully you're hanging in there. And if you have any questions, you know, please let me know. But anyway, so you have your primitive shapes. You have the square, the rectangle, which again could even be a cylinder, depending on, you know, we're looking at everything straight on right now, which again is very, very unusual, and it's not a very comic booky thing. You see comic book artists use it because it's easier, but you can't, well, you can't really draw a book with just using straight views. So you got that, and you've got your sphere. And then what's really cool about this stuff is, okay, so form. This will be good. Okay, so the moment I do this, this looks like it's in front of this, correct? You can see that. This shape is in front of here because it sits in front of it. Now, proportionally speaking, it's difficult to say the size relationship that these two things have, but it doesn't really matter. But here's where it gets interesting is, okay, so I'm going to draw a wedge. And the wedge is just this, okay? And we're going to be seeing a little bit of the side plane. And it's, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to make it actually even a little more interesting. My wedge, we're going to be above it a little bit, so we're looking down on it. Okay, do you see the top? You see a bit of the side? Okay. Now, that is in front of this shape, so I'm going to do this. Okay, and then that's in front of this shape. All right. So in really simple forms, we'll just do it in the super primitives. And again, don't get bored with this stuff, because I'm telling you, like, it's going to be everything. But okay. So that's in front of that. That's in front of that. Right? And also, this would be just something to think of, is say that this is a sphere. That's, sorry, I keep kind of screwing up the sphere. So I'm trying not to curse in these in case younger kids are watching. But if you're drawing like your Coke can sort of shape, technically speaking, if it's coming towards you, it will sort of reduce not only in size, but the foreshortening. So it would, we'll say this is slightly exaggerated, but hopefully you'll get the feel of it, is as it's coming towards you, it will slightly increase in size. So in theory, and we're going to say that this is going back in space too. So that's a slightly more exaggerated version of it. Do you see that? Isn't it beautiful how 3D this stuff is already with just these simple shapes? I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I live about a block from an elementary school, and they kind of caught wind that I did comic books for a living, and I kind of take it for granted, but I ended up volunteering 3 years in a row to do art classes for third graders, then fourth graders, then fifth graders, and I just did one class, maybe two each year, as sort of like a reward for them working hard during the year. And I got these kids so excited about art, showing them exactly this, because I took really simple things that they already knew how to draw, like, again, a circle or a rectangle. And I just show them that, hey, you know what? With a few little simple tricks, you can really start to do some cool stuff. So here, I'll show you a little bit of perspective. And I've done this before. But you take this, and I'm telling you, like, this is teeth. This is, a cape. It's Spider-Man's webbing. All this stuff it all plays into these shapes. Okay, so if you've got this, everybody knows 1 point perspective. Everyone's kind of goofed around with it. So if you put a dot right here, and I'm just going to show you a real simple thing first, okay? And then really you can pick anywhere to sort of like connect the dots to have a somewhat 3D looking shape that's sort of like, could in theory be a building. And I know that people now in Clip Studio Paint or Manga Studio, they have the perspective tool. I would suggest, though, just you want to be able to understand this on your own too. It's important. Like you like, I can use all those tools, but I have this. I can do this in person. I can do it all day. I have nothing out in front of me. This is really, really simple stuff, and I'm telling you, I can make this stuff so advanced so quickly because I understand this stuff. I can turn the shapes in my head. I can light them. It just opens up infinite possibilities for your drawing. Okay, so the horizon line. Meaning, if you look straight out, this is kind of eye level, okay? Hopefully I explain this well. I'm not like a... I don't consider myself a teacher, so anyway. But if you put that simple... Okay, we're going to put a vanishing point. Just go with me if you don't understand in terms of what we're doing. But anyway, so if I put that little square shape here, and then I'm going to put one here... And they don't have to be up and down like this. Here, we'll do one at like a weird angle. Okay. So same idea. You're just like this is your eye level. This is where we're gonna have everything sort of coming out of. And again, I'm gonna build this stuff up in the next videos, and it'll go from pretty simple to like you'll go, oh my god, dude, this is everything. But I mean, this, I can't give you enough examples of where this stuff comes in handy. It comes in handy everywhere, everything. And it will completely free you up to draw whatever you want. All right, and I could just as easily turn these into a figure, and this is just 1-point perspective, but look how dynamic that is just there. I mean, you could just imagine like this is 3 heroes like flying into a scene, and again, you start to turn the forms a little bit. And like I said, this got the kids really excited fast. And again, the idea of putting a shape in front of another shape. So if I put a head here, it's going to be a cube. And again, this is, I'm already actually kind of getting advanced for probably beginners. But I set a cube in front of there. All of a sudden, there's a head. Now, if I put another cube here, a fist, and you want to keep your fist at about the same distance just so that it doesn't... That was one of the trickiest things for me, is because I'm so used to inking that I don't deal with size relationships as much. Like I don't have to create the size relationships. It's already kind of done for me with the penciler's work. And again, remember that if it's coming towards you, the arm's going to get a little bigger. But and the thing is the hands are not hard to draw. There's subtle things with hands. There's subtle things with faces that give them more life. But you want to understand this first. But I mean, in terms of like, I could draw a whole figure doing something and start with a finger. I'm not even kidding. It's not a big deal. You know, I don't have enough room to do it on this piece of paper, but I mean, I could literally take this and turn this into a whole drawing, starting with the finger, because I understand the form and where everything, how it would work together. And I just keep building it back. And I would do this. I start in the foreground and I work it back, and I have poses that I understand, and you know, it all just opens it up. It opens the door. Dun, 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 dun. Isn't this fun? I hope, like I said, I apologize if I'm explaining this stuff poorly. I think I have so many ideas in my head that it's going to take me a little bit to assimilate. And look, there's artists that are so much better at this stuff than me. I mean, I would consider myself average at best at this stuff, and you know, it still frees me up to do tons of things. I'll just you know, and you can have the fingers going up if you wanted something more dynamic. And they're overlapping. This finger's in front of this one, so this one starts to go behind. Same deal with this. Like, your middle finger is the longest, so... And then this is the renegade finger, I like to call it. It can kind of, it does its own thing. The pinky, it's wild. Then we'll have the thumb coming out this way. Let's see. Yeah, maybe like this. Again, the hand is in front of this, so arm will come back here, or you could even have the arm up here. I was looking through the camera while I was drawing it. That's why I was laughing. You know, and then So anyway, I hope that this is exciting for you, and I think this is a really, really good introduction into what we're going to be attacking. But I just want to show you how important this is, and I want you to just start playing with these shapes and see what you can do. Try some little exercises. Create a form like this, like the sphere, we'll say, okay? I think because I'm drawing them sort of small, I'm feeling a little pegged in. So, right, so kind of putting sort of the grid on it, so to speak. Okay, but now if I start to try to set, let me, I'm going to do it with a pen, so it pops a little bit. All right, so if I was going to put these kind of things on this, like say this is some sort of crazy object with like interesting shapes on it. So I'll put one right here. Hopefully this works. And stuff can get tricky, man, I'm telling you. All right, so I'm placing it on, I'll draw through so that I have the whole thing. Let's see if this works. See, even I'm having trouble seeing it. Okay, let me put another one here. Yeah, this is tough. All right, so if it's a triangle. Sometimes it helps to just put down a shape and then navigate it out. I've found, all right, so if I put one right here. Oh, you know, I think that would have helped. All right, let me, I'll put one right here. Another one right here. But yeah, if you can start to play with like putting objects on objects, that will really, really help. I think what I needed is I needed a vanishing point. This is actually a pretty complicated little drawing problem. This will be something worth me working on myself, because it wasn't as easy as and then this, let's see, I think start to kind of descend. But yeah, I mean, you could see where like these primitives, it can get advanced. And then I'll leave you with this, like okay, like this shape, like kind of a horseshoe. Okay, so you know, the reality is that could be a jaw, right? But you could see where, I'm going to do this fast because I'm running out of time. If you were going to place teeth, so what you want to do is anything, again, it's things start to sit in front of each other. So if you have, you know, you want to start kind of where the thing that's facing the closest, most directly to you. So you have the sort of, I don't know if it's a canine tooth or whatever they're called, but this tooth is in front of this. This tooth is in front of this one. This, and then they start to wrap around. And this can be pretty complicated, honestly. And you're also seeing the tops of these teeth. I mean, it's essentially what you're doing is you're blocking in something kind of the effect of this. You know, if you want to, as a super primitive shape, you know, you're dropping in things like this. But then as it goes this way, these start to reduce, and then you start to see these teeth. Sorry, the brush went a little astray there. You know, and then imagine now you've got the upper jaw sitting above this. Let me do it in pencil. But yeah, you're going to need to be able to problem solve all this stuff in drawings. And it's not to say that you will necessarily lay it out this way, but you're gonna need to have the ability to feel that kind of idea. Again, I'm gonna have to draw over this, but each one of these teeth is sitting slightly behind the other, and then these start to go. So anyway, hopefully at least that's a decent introduction into the importance of this stuff, and then, you know, I'll have to watch this back, and then I'll be like, oh man, what a mess. But I think that you get the idea of just start to play with stuff like this, okay? All right, smash the like, check out my Patreon, Instagram, yada, 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 and, you know, we got a decent amount of drawings down, and these are just sketches, but again, just know that this is what we're going to be building out from. And again, it's going to open it up. When we start getting into the superhero stuff, I won't have to keep going back to this. I'll just refer people to these simple beginning videos. Okay? All right, have a great day. Later.